Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy GZTV. I'm about to go pick up my cousin Logan, but first we gotta get through this Breaking Bad video. I'm gonna pick him up, and then we're gonna be streaming probably for like 6 fucking hours. It's gonna be fantastic. Please go over to the Twitch. We're gonna be doing the same thing tomorrow night and probably the next night. I need my Twitch to really go up. I'm probably gonna react to some videos tonight throughout. Like if Logan wants to take a break or something, I'm probably gonna react to some videos. I'm very excited. I know I sound very enthusiastic. I do kind of. I'm pretty enthusiastic, but we're just gonna go through the plot and then go through what people have thought of this episode. This episode really didn't do much in terms of action, in terms of like plot twist, anything like that. But it was still a developmental episode. You know, we're nearing towards the finale of season 3, and to end off season 3, you pretty much like in between like the first couple of episodes to draw the audience in into the finale. It's kind of like this gray area where it's like, okay, we got to build some story. We're not going to give them too much yet. So Walt and Jesse are now in full production in the new lab and are easily producing the 200 pounds of meth each week as per their quota. So, you know, Walt and Jesse are back on their bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And they're getting it going. They're really getting it going. Really good production. Jesse finds that they're even overproducing and is resentful, and Walt refuses to allow him to remove the extra pounds from the shipment, particularly since he has calculated that Gus will net at least $96 million at the end of their 3-month contract, while the two of them are receiving only a combined payment of $3 million despite doing all the work. So Jesse does a little bit of math here, and he kind of realizes, hey, we're kind of getting ripped off by Gus Fring. I mean, then again, Gus gave you the deal. This is how this works. You guys aren't like any important. You guys don't serve any importance to Gus. No, no, no. You should have known that from the start that you're not that important to Gus. You're really being used to make product. Do you know what I'm saying? You're not some upper echelon in the company or anything. Gus has probably guys for that. He has guys that run around and employ people and stuff like that. You guys are just the factory workers. Think about it. You're getting paid $3 million. I know it's a craft. I know it's a craft to make crack or meth, whatever. But at the end of the day, you're a factory worker pretty much. Walt, however, is unconcerned by this and simply brushes off Jesse's complaints as him being unappreciative, him being kind of materialistic. Walt's like, I'm going to take whatever money I can get out of this deal, man. I'm getting paid. My family's going to be good. So that's all that matters. Let's move on to Hank's situation. Hank is still recovering in the hospital, and Steve Gomez shows up to tell him that the blue meth has made a comeback in several states, thus confirming Hank's suspicions that Heisenberg has not yet been captured. So yeah, Hank has been right this whole time. You know, Heisenberg is still out on the streets slanging that shit, and we know Heisenberg to be Walter White. Shout out to the action figure like right above the shoe there. That is Heisenberg. I copped it. I know you guys can't really see it, so it's kind of a fail in the grand scheme of things. I wanted to give this studio a little bit of a Breaking Bad touch. I feel like we needed that, but it obviously didn't work in the end. But yeah, it's good that he was right, but at the same time, this is not the news you want to hear when you're incapacitated to do anything. He's pretty much just chilling in his chair. Hank is nevertheless dissatisfied. Obviously, he's always dissatisfied with his job. He's always looking to improve, which is a great thing in his character. But yeah, and reveals that the only reason he's still alive is because he got a warning call a minute before his would-be assassins attacked him. So yeah, he reveals to everybody, hey, I'm not the one that saved myself. Someone saved my ass, and they probably deserve the world for it. Instantly suspicious of Walt, Skylar asks him if they and he are safe, so she pulls up to his car out in the parking lot. They're kind of having a discussion. Walt assures her that they are. They are safe. I mean, the Salamancas are all dead. They took their eyes off of Heisenberg in the first place when they figured out that Hank was actually the guy that killed Tuco. So it's been a while since Walt has kind of been in the clear. It's been since like the beginning of this season, since Walt has kind of been in the clear. So yeah. Though Hank is now conscious and functioning, his legs are mostly paralyzed, and the prognosis is that he may not be able to walk again, even with months of physical therapy. So his days with the DEA could be over. I mean, it seemed like in like the middle of this season, he really wanted his days in the DEA to be over, but now he's like, oh shit, I gotta get back to business, type of thing. He really wants to get back, and when he wants to get back, of course, his body's dysfunctional. So Yeah, his doctor tells Marie that the therapy he needs is unlikely to fall within their insurance plan. Obviously, they're not the the most fortunate folks around, and they would most likely end up having to pay out of pocket, which could end up costing them hundreds of thousands of dollars. Something that, despite Hank's services in the DEA, they're not going to be able to muster up the funds for that. Walt meets with Gus at his distribution center to clear the air, to kind of make sense of it all. Kind of, did you make the call to save Walt's life or Hank's life type of thing? Hank's revelation that he received a phone call before the attack has led Walt to the conclusion that Gus was the one who diverted the cartel assassins away from him and directed them towards Hank instead, so that an attempted hit on a DEA agent would get the American and Mexican governments to crack down hard on the cartel and close off the distribution of meth from across the border, thereby granting Gus complete control over the market from within the states. So pretty much Walt's accusing Gus Fring of kind of manipulating the government, manipulating these guys to kind of stay away. He wants to be in control of the United States. He wants the cartel to be driven out. And since they failed to go after Hank and kill him, they have suffered the consequences, and part of the cartel has been diminished. So yeah, despite having put Hank's life in jeopardy, Walt nevertheless expresses gratitude towards Gus for saving his own life and commends him for his strategy, saying that he'd have done the same in Gus's position. I don't know, man. I thought Walt was one of the more smarter characters in this series, but man, Gus is a mastermind. He thinks everything up. I gotta give him some credit, man. Gus is one of a kind, bro. He's insane. He's so smart. He also brings up the issue of not knowing what will happen when his 3-month contract has expired. He's like, am I going to keep working with you? Am I going to have to go back to working at my school? Yeah, Gus promises him security for his family, like, even if you're done after the 3-month contract, I got you, bro. And also brings up the possibility of their extending their contract to a year, which would increase his earnings to $15 million, which is crazy. Walt definitely considers this. Obviously, Walt probably doesn't need this much money, but it would definitely be a luxury to live happily for the rest of his life. He's in his later years, and I think, yeah, Walt would definitely think about this opportunity. Sal encourages Jesse to purchase a nail salon with which he can use to launder the money he makes from the meth business. Oh, Saul Goodman. His money laundering ways, there's no end to them. Jesse flatly refuses, especially since doing so would require him to report his income to the IRS and thereby pay taxes. So this whole time this show's been going on, Jesse has not paid taxes. We should probably have figured that out by now. He's a criminal, he's a convict, so yeah. Tired of having to adhere to the quotas and responsibilities within his new job and wanting a larger cut of the profits, Jesse decides to steal the leftover pounds of meth that he and Walt produce in the lab to sell separately to the members of his rehab support group. So he's kind of using his support group as a marketing strategy to sell meth that he stole, which, as messed up as it is, I mean, Jesse's got to do what he has to do. He's been a criminal in the past. It's very desperate times for him, so I guess I can understand it. He enlists Badger and Skinny Pete in this endeavor, and during a meeting, they pose as 2 new members and initiate a conversation with the group where they mention the blue meth, piquing everyone's interest in it. So pretty much, they're like, oh my god, did you hear of that blue stuff? Kind of using it as like a business play. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of a crazy plan put on by Jesse, but I respect it. Marie becomes increasingly frustrated about being unable to find a means to pay for Hank's physical therapy, as their insurance will not cover the therapist. Again, they don't have the funds for that, fam. Skylar finally offers to pay their bills directly using Walt's drug money. Now, she doesn't know that this is drug money. She doesn't know how Walt is so rich all of a sudden, but they figure out that Walt has a lot of money, of course. She fabricates a story of Walt being a compulsive blackjack gambler, saying that this has been the cause of their recent marital problems. I love this. Can we give a round of applause for Skylar? What a great lie. That was so fucking awesome. I loved this move from Skylar to lie about Walt and say he has a blackjack issue. Because that's going to clear the air. Dishonestly. But it's going to let Hank know that, hey, this guy is not Heisenberg. He probably had no suspicions of it in the first place. But yeah. She explains that Walt took to gambling to pay his medical bills after his cancer diagnosis. And after some losses, his winnings have netted them an amount with 7 figures. Marie is left shocked and appalled, but agrees to take their money to pay for Hank's therapy. She's like, I'm going to take any money I can get in this situation. Walt, if you're making a lot of money gambling and you have extra, fuck it, I'm taking some. Walt expresses surprise in Skylar's ability to come up with such an elaborate story on the fly, and to be honest, me too, bro. I was super surprised. Skylar tells Walt that she believes he is somehow responsible for the attack on Hank, and that she is not forgetting that. She is going to keep that in her mind for the rest of the show, for the rest of their existence. Yeah. Hank, but honestly though, Hank is responsible for this. Hank did this to himself. He killed Tuco Salamanca without hesitation. Reception. People didn't see this as popular as an episode as the last episode, but yeah, it's a pretty good episode. It's solid. It's about a 9.1 out of 10. It reminded the audience that the process of Breaking Bad story is as much fun to watch as the product itself. It's about an A rating. A majority of the supporting characters were taking action, so that's awesome. Not all of the protagonists were... they didn't have to do it all. They didn't have to carry the load of the show. And I wouldn't say this is in the better half of Breaking Bad episodes, but I definitely think it adds an element of story, it adds an element of plot, of character development, and eventually, with 4 more episodes left to go in the season, I think the finale is going to be absolutely spectacular. I can't wait